hopefully anybody that's sitting in this crowd this morning, you get up here and tell about the things that God's done in your life. There's no question about it. The only thing I can do is tell you firsthand about the things He's done for me. And the miracles He's worked, for me. When I asked, it happened. And it didn't happen a week down the road or a month down the road. It happened exactly the moment that I asked Him to bless me. And He did. First time that it happened, I got an 8th grade education and a GED, and I'm not ashamed of that. Got home from Vietnam, went to work at a federal prison, 6.5 years as a correctional officer. Went to school over in Scott County to be a farrier on Camelot Farm. And the only reason I went is because back then Uncle Sam was giving me $448 a month to go to school. It was a 6-month school, and like everybody else, you get used to living off that extra money. And when that extra money stops, it sort of freaks you out. So I went through school and graduated, and I thought, golly, I've got to do something to get that money back here. We've been living off, we've making a car payment off that money. So I put an application in to go to Eastern Kentucky University. And they sent me a real nice letter and said, you don't even have a high school education. How are you going to go to college? So my wife said, listen, you can go to the University of Kentucky and take your GED. Now here I got 8th grade education. I don't know how to spell algebra, much less do it. So I went over and took my GED, and back then it was in an old building right down in the middle of the University of Kentucky campus, in a big room, and in the center of it was a glass wall cordoned off to where the secretary and the people were, and then in here was desk where you went in to take your GED. And back then you could smoke, 1978. So I went over to take the test, cost $5, and failed. Failed big time. Got home, told my wife failed, not going back and do it again. About a month later, she said, I want you to do me a favor. And I said, what? She said, I want you to go back and take your GED again. I said, my wife's name was Sharon, Jennifer's mom. And I said, honey, I failed the GED. I've got an 8th grade education. I can't pass. She said, go take it for me. I said, okay. I go back over there. I pay my $5. I go in there and take the test, and it's a long test. You can go through a whole pack of cigarettes taking that test. But failed it again. Could pass it. Did not have what it took to pass the test. About a month later, I want to go take the GED test again. I said, woman, what is wrong with you? I've done passed it. I've done failed this thing twice, and I'm making a fool out of myself. Go take it one more time for me. At this time, me and this woman's it's giving me the test. We're on a first name basis. So I walk in, Dennis, what are you doing here? I said, I'm going to take the test again. She said, you're kidding. I said, no, ma'am, I promised my wife I would. She said, sit down beside me and let me show you something. So she opened the drawer and she pulled my test sheet out there. She said, you have to make 40 points over and above the best that you've done on the last two in order to pass. She said, there's no way, honey, that you can do it. She said, I'm just telling you. She said, that's why I said I can't spell algebra. She said, you can't spell algebra, can you? And I said, no, ma'am. She said, how you going to do it on that test? And I made a bunch of it. There was a whole thing about it. And I said, well, I promised my wife I would take it. I said, so I won't take it. She said, okay, I won't charge you the $5 this time. So I went in and sat down, and I'm going to tell you, I can remember it just like if it was yesterday. Sat down there, lit me a cigarette. Wasn't nobody in the room but me that day taking that test. Sat there for a few minutes and thought, what am I going to do? And it hit me. I thought, golly, I haven't prayed about it. So I bowed my head. I opened that page up. And I said, you have to guide me. Can't do it. So I just started marking. Got through lit another cigarette. I probably wasn't in there a total of 30 minutes. So I walked out, and she was on the telephone. And I sat down at her desk. And she said, hold on for a minute. She said, you got a question? I said, I'm through. I'll call you back. She said, there's no way. And I said, well, I'm through. I've done all I can do. Are you sure? I said, yes, ma'am. She opened up the drawer and pulled that sheet out and laid it over top of my answer sheet. And bent forward and looked at it and looked at me and started counting. I got 43 points. 43 points. I needed 40. I got 43. Passed my GED. Happy to say the least. I was going across Red Mile Road. I remember going home to tell my wife, and I got stopped for speeding. And a policeman walked up and he said, you in a hurry? And I said, yes, sir. To be honest with you, I am. And he said, why? And I said, just passed my GED at the University of Kentucky. And I said, here's the sheet the lady gave me, and I'm going home to tell my wife. He said, congratulations, slow down. That's the first thing. So I passed my GED, and I get on the Winchester Police Department. I want to be a cop all my life. Working at the federal prison. Put my application in everywhere. Winchester called me, so I came over here. I was out on the street as a police officer, riding with other officers for 9 months before they could get me into the academy over in Richmond, because there's 4 classes from all over Kentucky that goes through that law enforcement academy at one time. And it is one of the most premier law enforcement academies in the United States. This academy has got a big name over here. Back then, you had to stay over there when you went through the academy. The chief of police here was Billy Claypool, and he said, you're not going to have to stay over there. You've got a wife and children. He said, I'm going to give you a car, and you can drive back and forth every day. So I got to drive home every night, which was another blessing, because what I'm going to tell you. So I started for school. I got 8th grade education. The first 3 weeks of that academy was criminal law. And here I am sitting in that class with a GED doing criminal law. If you fail the test on Friday, they give you the whole weekend to study. If you fail it again on Monday, that means when that class graduates, you start all over again, and you have to take whatever class you failed. So I done failed the first class. Took the test, failed. Got to drive back and forth. Her mother would sit up at night after she got off work and tutor me. So I got to the point to where I was doing good. I did. The written stuff is where I had a problem. I either read too much or I didn't read enough and answered the question wrong. The practical stuff I was good at. Nobody in my class outshot me. I shot 100% on the firing range. Fighting, mark, I got 96%. Tactical driving, made 80-something%. Crime scene investigation, made 90-something%. So when class graduated, so that meant I had that Monday, they graduated on Friday. That Monday I had to go and take that first week again that I had failed. So all my class took a final exam. That meant I had to take mine if I passed that test on Monday. And here's the bad thing about it. If you didn't pass, that meant that your police department, if they wanted to keep you, they had to pay for that. First time you went, state of Kentucky paid for it. I think now it costs, they think it's, I think $75,000 they've got invested in you by the time you graduate from that academy. So you're in a rock and a hard place. Whether I've got to pass or I don't have a job. So I take the first week over, pass the test, sat down to take the final, and I'm going to be honest with you, when I opened it up, it looked like it was written in Chinese or something, because it was that hard and the questions were that crazy. So I failed the final. They called me upstairs in the office at the Law Enforcement Academy, and I remember it was on the second floor. One of my instructors, named was Stanley Patton. He said, Dennis, you failed. He said, I'm going to have to call the chief of police over Winchester and ask him what he wants to do. And folks, I can remember standing in the hallway by myself, and I put my back up against the wall, and I got weak. I'm going to tell you. And I can remember just sliding down the wall and sitting on the floor. And I thought, I haven't prayed about it. So I prayed back. Stanley Patton walked out of his office. And he said, Dennis, I don't know why. Something just hit me. And I know what hit him. He hit him. To come out and ask you if your class did a home security survey. And I said, I'm the only one that made 100 on it. He said, you're kidding. I said, no, because I like to draw. I draw all my life. And mine was a really nice portfolio, and I had colored maps and all that in there, because it was nice. And what they wanted you to tell the fastest way to get from the police department to the fire department to the health department to the hospital and do maps and stuff like that. He said, where is it? Where's your home security survey? I said, it's in my locker. I'll go get it. He said, no. You sit on the floor. Give me the combination to the lock. I'll go get it. So he went and got it, walked in his office, came back out and said, I added this in on your score. You passed the law enforcement academy. That's the only reason. Out of my control, something I couldn't have done, God put it on his mind to come out and ask me that, because it hadn't been added in there. I get on the police department, got the world by the tail. The last 9 years I was there, I was a sergeant on the night shift, 8 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock in the morning. Got to the point to where I wanted to go to work, and I didn't want to come home, because the camaraderie back then was that good. When you think you got the world by the tail, he's going to chastise you a little bit. And he did me. They called me in early one afternoon because the sergeant on the day shift had to go home for something, I don't know what it was, but I got to work. Just as soon as I got to work, I called downtown in a bar, got in the bar fight down there with 6 or 7 guys. We wound up putting them all in jail. And I knew one boy. Matter of fact, he lived right up the street from where we lived at on Boone Avenue. And I split his head open with a slapjack. Put him in the back of my cruiser, took him out to the hospital, get him sewed up. Walked in the emergency room, got that blue suit on, got them sergeant stripes on and that gun. I thought I was somebody. And when you think that, he's gonna jerk a knife behind him. I walked in the emergency room with Marlboro in my mouth, and Dr. Loudermilk was the doctor on call, and he said, Dennis, get out of here with that cigarette. He said, you know better than that. So I walked back in, had that smart attitude. He said, when are you going to quit smoking? I said, let me tell you something. When I quit, when I die, you make sure I got a carton of Marlboro between my legs and a Bic in my hand just in case I wake up and have to have one, because I like to smoke. And he said, honey, when you die with that smart aleck attitude, where you gonna go, you ain't gonna need no big light no cigarette. So I got off that morning, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, went home, got to bed, had a heart attack. Woke up, it was all in my face, in my arm, all in my chest. I was dying. My wife jumped up and said, what's going on? I said, I'm dying of a heart attack. I gotta go to the hospital. She said, let me call somebody. I said, I ain't got time. I put my jogging pants on and my jogging shirt, lit me a Marlboro, went out and got that police cruiser, turned them blue lights and siren on, and drove myself to Clark County Hospital. Walked in, who was the first person I was looking at? Was Dr. Loudermilk. They gave me a shot to try to break the clot up. I forget how many thousands of dollars it cost. They couldn't fly me to the hospital over in Lexington because the weather was so bad that night. It was raining terrible. So they took me in an ambulance, and 2 of the women that were friends of mine that were nurses in the emergency room that night drove over there with me. And they got an ambulance and drove over there. My wife met me over there. And I can remember laying on the operating table, because they don't put you totally to sleep. But I can remember Berger saying, Father, if you will let me go back home to my wife and children, I promise you that I'll never smoke another cigarette. That was July the 11th of 1996, and I never smoked another cigarette. He took the urge away from me, and I had smoked for 30 years. I was smoking Can you imagine 3 packs of cigarettes in a 10-hour shift? You did not see me unless I had a cigarette. I had let them control me. My wife and I would be shopping in Walmart or somewhere, and they would say, "Don't be in here smoking," over the loudspeaker. Who you talking to? I'm a sergeant on the police department. If I want to smoke, I want to smoke. He ain't gonna let you act like that. You can't act like that. He's gonna jerk you around when you do that. And he did me. But I asked for it, and he did it right then. He didn't wait a week. He did it exactly when I asked for it. That's another miracle. He's still doing them today, just like he did when he walked this earth. But the bad thing about it is that we've taken advantage of it. He made a perfect world, and what have we done with it? We have polluted it. And we have become so tolerant in the United States that it's okay, it doesn't make any difference what you do whatever you want to, it's fine. And it's killing us. It's bringing our country down, and we're never going to recover from it. But don't let anybody tell you that he ain't still on the throne, because he is. And he's going to have his way. And one of these days, just like it says in the book, every eye will see him, and every knee will bow down to him. And you're going to pay for what you've done. But the great thing about us is we know him as our Lord and Savior. And we can say, Father, and to me, it's an everyday thing. I was a deacon in the Central Baptist Church for years. Central Baptist Church, the Baptist people believe once you're saved, you're always saved. I got in my office argument in my Sunday school class that it was the world. I said, hold it for a minute. You mean to tell me that if Dennis Wallace was 35 years old, had 2 children, house and all that, and everything was going good, and all of a sudden, his wife dies from something. One of his children dies from something. He loses his job. He starts drinking, he starts smoking, he starts doing dope and running around, and he gets out there and dies. He's still saved because he gave his heart and life to Jesus 25 years ago. I said, I don't believe that. I believe that I've got to get up in the morning and say that little prayer Jabez that's in the Bible. Jabez said, Father, bless me indeed. Give me more opportunity to talk to people about you, that your hand be in everything that I say and do, and I not do anything to cause anyone any pain or sorrow. God granted it. That was all that was in the Bible. They wrote a book that think about it, but it was just a little paragraph in the Bible. And I honestly believe with all my heart that I need to do that. I need to get up in the morning. When I wake up, I'm going to lay there in my bed, and I'm going to say my prayers. I'm going to pray for people. I'm going to pray for y'all. At night, when I get ready to go to bed, I'm going to do the same thing again. If he lets me get up tomorrow, I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow. And that's what he said. Don't worry about tomorrow. I'm going to give you enough equipment to get you through today. And if I let you get up tomorrow, I'll give you enough equipment to let you get up tomorrow and do tomorrow. But we got it made because we can go to him and ask him for forgiveness. And as long as we know him, he's going to forgive us. Thank you.